To the House.
Honourable Marianne Street.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for what is probably my last contribution to this piece of legislation. And I regret that it's not going to be a happy contribution. Mr. Speaker, my concern has been for a long time with this legislation that first it is retrospective, and nobody likes retrospective legislation. Secondly, it seems patently unfair to plumbers, gasfitters and drainlayers who have been socked with an illegal levy, and for them there will be no repayment or compensation for that by virtue of this Act passing its third reading. We are about to make legal an illegal levy imposed by the Plumbers, Gasfitters and Drainlayers Board in order to provide putia, a basket of money that can help prosecute people who should not be practising in any of those trades. The purpose of that is entirely fine. The method of it was illegal. I've been constantly told by the Minister and others that should we not pass this legislation, the Plumbers, Gasfitters and Drainlayers Board would be bankrupt. That the extent of this money's owing back to plumbers, gasfitters and drainlayers, from whom it was taken illegally, is in the order of some $600,000. Mr. Speaker, Labor was always keen to find a different way through for this, and we made that clear at the beginning. It was contained in an SOP which my colleague Raymond Hoare had put up, that there be an agreement, a way of compensating in part those tradesmen who had been disadvantaged in this way. They would not get everything back that they were owed, but they might get something, and that was the import of an amendment that my colleague put forward. And it would have been a reasonable thing to do. As it stands now, as this bill is due to pass in the next few weeks now, there is an injustice that is being done. People are being required to pay for something that was illegally taken from them. So this disciplinary levy was collected illegally. As I say, the purpose of it might have been entirely valid, but it is not inconsistent with the history of this Plumbers, Gasfitters and Drainlayers Board for them not to have done things entirely properly. There has been an inquiry into this board previously under the Labor administration, and there was some change as a result. However, we've now seen this piece of behaviour come in and only be discovered latterly, and the remedy that the government is jumping to is this one of retrospective legislation. I contend that there are other ways to have addressed it, that there could have been ways of arriving at a settlement that left the tradespeople not so disgruntled and the board not so out of pocket. But quite frankly, having had those suggestions that the board will be bankrupted if this bill does not pass, I must say I have not seen evidence to that effect. I do not understand why a board that receives annual fees for registration purposes and additional fees for licensing purposes can go bankrupt. If a member opposite is able to clarify that for me, I would be grateful to hear from them. But it seems to me that threats of bankruptcy are exaggerated and are overhyped. And I am not persuaded that that is the case. They have constant revenue streams. They have constant revenue streams derived from registration and licensing fees. What they are doing now is compelling, by dint of their own overreaching of their ability in law, to flee the cost of licensing. And so what we will have is registered plumbers, gasfitters and drainlayers not being licensed on a regular basis, in other words, not having to prove that they've upgraded their qualifications and their skills on an annual basis, that they will now become the prey of the PGD board, who will now seek to punish them by virtue of the very fee that they have extracted from them illegally. In other words, if that's difficult to understand, Mr. Ockenvold, look at it this way. They have been required to pay a fee for disciplinary processes to get rid of the unlicensed cowboys in the industries, right? So now what we are seeing amongst tradespeople is, in order to avoid exorbitant fees, which have now accumulated to $600,000, they will not relicense. They will carry their registration, but they will not relicense out of protest at this fee, however much we choose to make it legal. And that defeats the purpose that this fee was collected for, in my view. If we have unlicensed tradespeople who are now going to be hounded by the board because their lack of licence makes them unlawful, or not having the same qualifications and tickets that they ought to have to practice, then the PGD board has only itself to blame. And I consider that this passing of this legislation will compound the injustice to plumbers, gasfitters and drainlayers. And that is a travesty. There are other ways around this, and the Minister should have set his mind to more imaginative solutions than simply this one of validation, which the Labour Party cannot support. This has been a long-standing problem.
Order.
This is not the way to solve.
Time has come for the House to rise, so this debate is interrupted and set down for resumption next sitting day, and the House will stand adjourned until 2 p.m. on Tuesday the 30th of July in the year of our Lord 2013. I wish you all a safe recess.
Thank you.